Eddie Hearn has now all but admitted that the Joshua Wilder fight is not happening next. I said in a previous video that if it doesn't happen, then that is a duck by AJ as far as I'm concerned. However, Shane Fury claims that there's been a changing of the guard in Saudi boxing. Skill Challenge have fallen out of favor with the government and therefore their money has been cut off, and they've been replaced by a new Saudi promoter who are the ones putting on Fury and Ngannou. Eddie Hearn has admitted that there is actually some truth to this, in which case, if Joshua Wilder doesn't happen next, it may not be a duck by AJ after all, although I'd still want to hear from Wilder's side before I let AJ off the hook. They could still do the fight in the UK or in the US or some other country and make a load of money as long as both fighters are keen. But is AJ still keen? Again, if the fight falls through, I want to hear from Wilder's side. Either way, AJ is still very much on the hook for misleading the fans, and Eddie Hearn even more so, because he virtually guaranteed that the Wilder fight was going to happen next, right up until the week of the Helenius fight. Then all of a sudden, immediately after the fight, they're expressing all this doubt. That shows clear deception as far as I'm concerned. If Skill Challenge didn't have the money approved, Hearn will have known of that long in advance of the Helenius fight, but he was happy to string everyone along as a means of helping to promote the Helenius fight. The only saving grace is that it wasn't a pay-per-view event, although it would have been if Dillian Whyte had been involved. And the fans who bought tickets to attend the fight can still argue that they were sold those tickets under false pretenses. But anyway, back to the Saudi promotional situation. I'm sure there's going to be some Fury fans desperately trying to claim that this somehow proves that Skill Challenge never had the money to put Usyk Fury on earlier this year. Therefore, Fury should be exonerated for ducking. Well, firstly, Skill Challenge themselves said Usyk Fury fell through because one of the fighters asked for too much money. No prizes for guessing who that was. Fury publicly demanded $500 million to fight Usyk, and Frank Warren demanded $150 million for the Usyk fight a few months ago. Secondly, Fury could have still done the Usyk fight at Wembley if he'd been sensible and stopped moving the goalposts. And thirdly, there was nothing stopping Fury from doing the Usyk fight with the new Saudi promoter instead of the Ngannou fight. Think about it. Fury's rumored purse for this Ngannou fight is around $40 million, which is obviously a lot of money, but it's well within the range of what the Saudis have been willing to pay boxers before. Bear in mind, Anthony Joshua was paid around $60 million by the Saudis for his rematch with Andy Ruiz. And with the Saudis, you don't have to worry about purse splits because each fighter negotiates their own individual deal with them. Fury and Ngannou is supposedly a much bigger fight than Usyk Fury. Yet Fury was demanding way more money for the Usyk fight than he is for this Ngannou fight. How the hell does that make sense? Fury fangirls, please explain it to me. Why is Fury willing to take far less money to fight Ngannou than he was willing to take to fight Usyk, when the Ngannou fight is a much bigger fight apparently? Explain it to me. Furthermore, John Fury claims Ngannou is more dangerous than Usyk. It's not rocket science, guys. I know you Fury fangirls ain't the brightest bunch, but it's not hard to figure out, bruv. Fury never wanted the Usyk fight. If he did, he would have got it done just as quickly as the Ngannou fight was done. Anyway, back to AJ Wilder. If that fight doesn't happen next, where do both fighters go? AJ needs some easy fights. Some confidence builders, whether he realizes it or not. Helenius was actually too tough for him as a confidence builder, and that's pretty shocking considering how washed up Robert Helenius is. But you're not supposed to come through a confidence builder with your face all busted up. That tells me your next opponent actually needs to be a level or two below Helenius. Yes, I was pushing for AJ to fight Wilder, a man he's not ready for. But that's only because he and Eddie Hearn promised that fight next. I hold people to their promises. And as far as Wilder's next move, his confidence is definitely a lot higher than AJ's, but unfortunately, it still doesn't seem to be high enough to be willing to face any contenders other than AJ, which is disappointing, but not surprising, given how protected Wilder was as champion. So what options does he have? Well, I wouldn't have thought he'd get a shot at Usyk anytime soon because Usyk's up to the eyeballs in mandatories. It's Hrgovic for Usyk next, and if he gets past him, it'll be the Zhang Joyce winner after that. And if he's successful in that one as well, then he'll be looking at what, late summer next year at the earliest for a voluntary defense. The next biggest payday for Deontay Wilder outside of AJ and the champions is the Andy Ruiz fight. Ruiz recently said he'd accept $10 million to fight Deontay Wilder. Sounds very reasonable to me. I think Wilder should revisit that fight and be sensible, or he might find himself fading away into obscurity. Anyway, I'll leave it there.